the Mactavius, EmaccReacts, Vibrations, interview with Shahrazad Ali, 1991. Part 2. You know, we're going to keep it macking every time that I get here, man. I'm finna put you on that MACC. The true game, the true name, the individual. I only want to represent true names, man. I'm trying to get y'all back to reality. Snap back to your mental health. I'm not mad at you progressing with technology, but I want you to get in tune with yourself. Emac, you know what I'm saying? The Maxter, the Mac of all trades, you know, the runner of all fades, you know what I'm saying? Let me let me stop. Let me stop. Let's get it moving.
Why not take up for us? Why not write something that says we need that?
We've had everybody to take up for us, and we've always had books about black women, how great and how strong we are, and we are that. I'm just saying that we have used our strength in the wrong direction. We have used it against our men instead of standing up for them. And if we start to support our men and to speak a good word for him publicly, then so many people won't be able to come against him and tear him down, and he won't have to feel so frustrated, and he won't be outside away from us looking for peace of mind with women of other nationalities, because we actually want our own black man. We need him back in our homes, and we want to have one. We're just living in a culture where they're trying to convince us that not only do we not need a man, but there's some other options to having one. And those options mainly are celibacy or lesbianism.
There's an old saying that says, charity begins at home and spreads abroad. And
Absolutely.
In your book you say that we are not bringing up our daughters and our sons in a correct manner to respect their fathers.
No, we're not. Unfortunately, as I say, since money has been used as the measure, many times if a black man does not have money to give us, we won't even let him see his children. We won't let him spend any time with it because he does not give us whatever the child support is. And I'm not saying that we don't need money to raise a child, but I try to explain to black women that raising a child consists of much more than feeding, clothing, and sheltering it. That's maintaining one. To raise one, you need a return of the parental coalition of the father and the mother to put the proper values into the child. Many of our boys, when we raise them alone, they grow up with the female emotional mechanism. They are suspicious, they are doubtful, they're disrespectful of womanhood, they are bitchy, they can't make a decision. And many of our girls who grow up in a home where there's no man present, they go out into the world and try to mate. They don't have any idea how to live with a man day to day, how to prepare a proper meal, how to be a mother, how to just be in love in the home. Most of what our people and our children especially have learned about how you have a relationship, they learned off of television. And television doesn't represent our needs. And so a lot of the confusion has come, you know, from outside agencies that we have not recognized just how detrimental it has been to us as a people.
Can I play devil's advocate for just a moment?
Well, I wish you wouldn't, but I know you must. Go on.
What if I am a good wife, his home is clean, his kids are fed, I'm making sure they're well educated, I help them with their homework, I'm a good lover in bed, I help him with the finances, and I say, look at that, he still took a walk.
Well, that's something else that's been confused about my book. I advise black men and black women. I certainly tell men that if you are with a woman who you have been with for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, 6 months, 2 weeks, whatever it is, and that woman refuses to cooperate with your ideas, does not want to get with your program of right, whatever it is, then I tell those men, get rid of that woman and get another one. And I tell black women the same thing. If you are with a man that you cannot be in agreement with, then get rid of him and get with a man that you can be in agreement with. If the man you're with is not treating you the way that you want him to, and you feel that you have put in enough time to demonstrate your commitment and your sincerity of efforts to try to make the relationship work, I don't tell people to just stay in that relationship. I'm trying to teach us that we waste a lot of time being angry with each other and being dissatisfied in relationships. Get out of it and get with one where you can be happy.
You say that the black woman would like to be a clone of the white woman.
Many of us, yes. That's unfortunate.
How do you see that?
Well, that's something that was almost accidental, I'd have to say. See, the white woman has been the only mentor that we have had. of a female. We've seen her every day of our life on television, every magazine, every newspaper, every commercial. You know, it's just been her face, her body, her image, whatever it has been in front of us. And so today we have the results of that. We have black women who are trying to dye their hair blonde, who are wearing blue and green contacts in their eyes, you know, who wear tons and tons of layers of makeup, who have changed their voice, who have hair weaves so they can have flowing long hair blowing in the wind, you know, like Brooke Shields or somebody, you know. And so that's been an accident. And as a result of us doing that, we have also adopted the women's liberation movement goals of wanting to be liberated from the man and have some kind of pseudo-equality, when while that may be true of the white woman and her plight with the white man, that's not really the black woman's business, because we haven't been under the control of the black man for over 500 years. So what do we have to be liberated from him from?
I think it's just extremely coincidental that we still are going through some of these things, and we still are attempting to, well, I wouldn't say attempting to overcome, because I don't see any real change, you know. And I think that, to kind of expound on Ali's point, I think that getting like reverting back to your organic love of self is asking too much in some people's minds, or so-called black women. This shirt called Black Wall Street, you know what I'm saying? I got it on Black Wall Street themselves. Shout out to them. But it's like you have to convince someone to be righteous. You know, you got to convince someone to maintain morality. You got to convince someone, like you have to give them a hour-long spiel, whereas, you know, you can just put on this wig, put on these pounds. Like, not too long ago, there was cancer found in like some braids, bro. Like some braids that you all put in your hair. Cancer found in fake hair. So this is March. Right now it's the 27th. Blackdoctor.org said, warning, cancer causing toxins found in popular hair braids. So, like, even if you're trying to be different, but now every time it's not difficult to convince you to commit a slow pain and ultimately an extinction. It's instant mind expiration. However, over time, your body catches up because it's just a slow burn. Malcolm X stated it is just a not to stop suffering, but to suffer peacefully. And I'll get into that video later on, but I do agree with Shahrazad Ali on her points, and even on each side, you know what I mean? But however, not to, you know, take away from what's going on right now. She's talking about men, so I want to about, she's talking about everything, but she's more so being a little bit more critical on the so-called black woman side, like, so I want to stay on that topic. However, you know, here it is.
But is there something wrong with trying to make yourself look better or more appealing?
It depends on what standard you're using as being the goal of looking better.
Yeah, like what is better? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You know what I mean? And people try to tell you, no, it's not. But different cultures see different things as beautiful. Like in Africa, they see the more voluptuous woman to be more attractive, right? And then you go to the Western world, so-called Western world, and then they like the models tend to be a little bit more slim or fit. We're going to the fit age, and things of that nature. So beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but at what extent are you attempting to be beautiful at? You know what I mean? And and um and is this beauty causing you internal pain and or hurt, and then when you hurt yourself, if it does happen to be that, then who else externally are you hurting? Are you hurting the community as well? And it just so happens that your beauty standards are hurting the people. I know people really don't see it that way, but let's just be honest and sincere. Like, um, you're teaching children to put on uh, makeup that's clogging their face, and teaching them to not think that they're beautiful organically. Like, you can wake up and just be great, but let a beauty standard come around that, that showed up on a TV. You all just fall for it. You go for it.
If we think to look better is to put on a ton of makeup and have blue eyes, then there's something wrong with that. But if we think that to look better is to certainly get a better spirit in our heart, and to work every day to become a better wife, a better mother, better friend, better sister, then those values and attributes alone will make us more beautiful than we are now.
How do you feel about the fact that many people accuse you of wanting to see the black woman at a point of submission? Is that where you want to see a black woman in the 1990s?
Well, it depends on how you define submission. Those words have a tendency to have a negative connotation for us because of how they were used against us during slavery and what we connect them to. But actually, the kind of submission that I'm referring to just means cooperation and agreement. I don't think that anybody could say that I represent a woman who is subjugated in any kind of way. I don't think that anybody could say that let's try making heaven. Let's try to build him up in hell for our men. That we have a lot of power. We have power to make heaven and hell. I don't think that anybody could say that my personality sounds like some man has me somewhere crawling around on the ground or walking 10 paces behind him. So I'm not representing that. I'm representing strength. I'm saying that we have a lot of power. We have power to make heaven and hell for our men. And I'm saying, let's try making heaven. Let's try to build him up. If a man has his woman behind him, he will believe he can do anything. And all we need to do is to get our men to believe that they can do anything. And he'll be able to, do much better than he's doing now and come out of the pitiful condition he's in. As I said, I'm not exonerating him. I'm just saying that all of that strength that we have, let's use it in a more positive way instead of just going for self. Nobody told us that all of that being my own person and I'm independent would lead to separation and loneliness. But that's what we had to trade for that. In order to have certain kinds of success, we had to give up the man because we can't find a man who will compete with us on that level. As I said, we say he can't handle us or he's intimidated by the fact I make more money than him. I think that by judging our men on how much money he makes, we have lost a lot of good men. Because as black women, if we decide that all of us are going to just determine whether or not we're going to have a man based on how much money he makes, then none of us have no man.
But
because most black men don't have no money.
There are many men
not a lot of money.
There are many men out there who don't want a woman.
That's absolutely true.
Who is not gainfully employed.
That's
just
true.
Works both ways.
And one of the things that I have always explained about that, Raven, is that for my lectures, which I do all over the country so I can give black people some ease and take some of the hysteria out of our communities that the book seems to have caused, I have security guards. Not because of black women. We're going to do just what we do. We're going to fuss and we're going to cuss or do a little something, But I have it because of black men. Because the black man's guide to understand the black woman puts the black man on point. And it reminds him what he has allowed to happen to his woman and his family. Many black men become intimidated. They don't want to take responsibility for their women. They don't want the challenge. They don't want to be put on point. So they become overwhelmed. And it's them that go off. That's why I have security. Because most men know that this book puts the black man on point. It just talks about what slavery has done to the black woman, but it's really telling him what he has allowed to happen.
Let's go back to
That's a fact. Like, we don't stand up for anything anymore. You know, the only thing we stand up for is stuff that doesn't matter or doesn't. I wouldn't say we, you know, but holistically, you know, we stand up for things that doesn't matter, that are pushed by, you know, people that don't represent us as a whole. You know, BLM, NCAA, like that doesn't truly represent who and what you are. Like, these organizations, they're not for you. You know what I mean? And if they were, you know, they would be more evidence in the communities, right? And it's no true power, you know. A law or anything like that is anybody that can enforce a law, right, physically. So, and we have no physical means of utilizing that power. Now, she's 100% correct. Like I said, it does fall back on the man. Like, you know, when it comes to conquistadors, conquering, whatever the case may be, you've allowed yourself to be docile and emasculated, and whatever words they want to use. You allowed it because you don't speak up. There's no real empathy behind your actions. There's nothing. There's no structure. You know, all of our so-called leaders have, you know, been disposed of. So, to say the least, the real so-called leaders, not these, you know, fake ones, these ones that are in place of one. But, you know, it's what it is. But she's correct, and I don't see why. I mean, it doesn't make me want to get up and do anything to Shahrazad Ali. Like, she's telling the truth. The truth may hurt, but, you know, she may have. I don't know. It doesn't make me want to get angry and or violent toward Shahrazad. She's intelligent, like, she's telling the truth. So again, I appreciate that. She just saying in a sense that men are so-called black men have been losing a battle. Is that a lie?
the book for just a moment. According to you, there are 3 types of black women.
Yeah, they overlap a little bit.
Can you define that just very briefly for us?
Well, we have, I kind of number them, I think, as 1, 2, and 3, and I would call them lower class, middle level, and so-called upper class, you know, and we certainly have to acknowledge that we have those levels in our society. We see them every day. That is not a put down to recognize that we have a lower class woman who perhaps lives on the street, who is an alcoholic, a bum, you know, who is outdoors, who is subject to abject poverty as a lack of, because of a lack of education and proper training and personal hygiene and other kinds of information. She exists, and we need to reach her and try to raise her up differently, because many of these women have children, and we have to be responsible for them. We have the mid-class women who are the number 2s, and they're kind of average. They try to do better than the lower level. And then, of course, we have the number 3 class, which is the so-called successful, you know, black woman who is tripping about the fact that she generally has a big job and a credit card or something, you know.
Don't you want to see black women accomplish something?
Yes, I absolutely do. But if we can't accomplish saving our race, then we have not made an accomplishment. We are looking at our man become endangered. He's already endangered. Over 60% of us are single, widowed, separated, or divorced as of last year. And so we're not together. And there is one monolith in the black community, Raven. If we don't reproduce children, then our nation, our race is going to die out here. And so we sometimes tend to look at black men and say, yeah, they're in this bad condition, and we act like they're going to die out and we're going to live on. But that's not the way it's going to go. If the black man dies, all of us are going to die because he actually is the backbone of our nation. We can't produce a baby by ourselves, and going into other nationalities still just erases, you know, our nation. And I'm trying to get us not to do that.
You have problems with interracial marriages.
Yeah,
Why?
I'm not for that. Well, because of the fact that I think that God made a male and female of every nationality so that they could mate and reproduce. And I think in our particular case, a lot of us try to run to what I call race denial by trying to marry into other nationalities to try to get away from our own heritage. Many black women do that, and certainly many black men do that. So I'm trying to get them to get back together and stop trying to marry and go into other races and infiltrate them with some of the nonsense that we bring as a result of our sad slavery history.
What if a woman says to you,
Agree and disagree with that statement. That's, from my perspective, that's a low vibrational statement. Like, the technology that they have nowadays, you can pop a pill and you can appear to be black. So it doesn't make any sense to me as to why you're judging the content of someone's, I mean the color of someone's skin rather than the content of their character. Um, Again, time and time again, we've been sold out by our own. And you can go back and look it up. FBI documentations, police paperwork, and many more that we probably don't even know about. But COINTELPRO, like, we definitely been infiltrated by our own spies. So to sit here and say like we got to get back and it's only us, because I disagree with that. Even scientifically, um, like once you mix so-called black with anything, like that's just what you are. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. Like, um, and that's a extremely dominant trait. So keep mixing, until it's the until it's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? But that and ultimately that's what I don't want to say they've done to us, but they've done to us. The so-called slave owners mixed, and then what they do is they make vanilla appear um more creamy or white. They make coffee. They put cream in it to appear more white, so it's not as strong. However, they still want it. They just want it to look a certain way. So, um, Shahrazad Ali, I agree with most of what you're saying, but I think this is outlandish. Um, and like it's just, come on. I know we have different cultures and whatnot, but what I will say is what I agree with is once you start saying I don't like my so-called black people, they got attitudes. Them black women got attitudes and this, that, and the third, and I can't handle them. They hard to deal with. That's when I feel like it's self-hate. But if you love someone, you love someone, and that's just what it is. That's your connection. That's your bond. Um, and who am I to tell you that you can't love this individual? That's you and your bond, whatever you do with the Most High. I don't feel like I should have a say in that. Um, I implore you to love who you love, because sometimes um, it, when you're dealing with these traumas, like it's so like I get it. You don't want to deal with your own, and then to add some more on top of that, it's just more of a challenge. Of course, it's a beautiful success story, but like it's a numbers game, and we want to breed success. So do what you got to do. Keep knocking them down. You know what I'm saying? Uh, in all respect to Shahrazad Ali, but that's just a antiquated, as you can see, that's just an antiquated ideology. And if you don't have a problem with that, I implore you to go do your research on who betrayed us, and they look just like me and you.
Well, I was alone, and he came to me at a very vulnerable point in my life, whether he's Hispanic or from the Middle East, or he's
Caucasian,
white, and Caucasian, doesn't matter. And she just says, he came to me at a very vulnerable point in my life, Shahrazad, and he's good to me, and he takes care of me.
It's not necessary for people to confess to me. I tell people all the time, I'm not taking a poll. This book is about self-examination and personal development. And if after reading this book, she thinks that she is still in the right place, then I don't have any control over that. I'm not out here as a judge. As I said, I haven't set myself up to say I'm the perfect black woman. Everyone should be about me. I have the same problems that all the rest of y'all got. I'm just trying to work with it, and this book is so brutally honest. We've never had anybody just straight talk to us about our personal problems, what happens inside the black home after the door is closed. And we have had a tendency to think that it's some kind of secret, that nobody recognizes, that we don't get along. And we tend to think that somebody is going to pick this book up from some other nationality and think that all black women are like the women that I describe in this book. That's totally impossible, because the things that I describe are visible and they're audible. You can see them, or you can hear them. So nobody's going to mistakenly think you do these things if they don't see them or hear them coming out of your mouth or out of your actions. You know, so there's no danger of people thinking that all of us do this.
Shahrazad, there are a lot of women out there who...
I'm rewinded just a little bit. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much. I got a business call. I love y'all, man. Keep your head up. EmaccReacts. You dig it?